Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the R.A.W podcast, your gaming talk. We're here with the casual cast. Adele, hello. Rod, hello. And we got a special guest with us today, Diogo Abreu. Now I'm still butchering
Perfect,
it.
perfect. You nailed it.
Perfect. So here we have the CMO of Kudo and marketing manager at Enreach. Welcome.
Thank you,
Hey
Martin, so much.
Jogo,
Yeah, glad to be
welcome, man.
here. I think we are quite a bunch of guys that love gaming, so definitely going to be interesting to talk about the new stuff.
As always, we've got a bunch of guys interested in talking about gaming.
Wait a minute. We are missing some spiciness here. Give me some Tabasco. Give me some salsa here. I want to know everything about Diogo because Diogo works in a platform that actually is powered by AI. But I want to learn a little bit about him because I know him as part of my network, but I would like our audience to learn about Diogo. Who is Diogo? Where do you live? What's your bank account? How much cash do you have there? And how can we have access to it?
That is the most important question. The
That's,
last
that's
one.
what, so it's empty. It's empty somewhere on the Maldives or something. So you'll not be able to trace it. Sorry about that. So yeah, Diogo is a
Damn.
Portuguese guy, someone that loves gaming, being into gaming not as professionally since I was like 5 years old with PlayStation One. I just wanted to be in gaming. I didn't have any idea it will be on Web3 gaming when I was younger, but I'm glad I did. I think it's the future, and I think if it is done the right way, there's a lot of possibilities, and that's what I've been doing with passion with Kudo. So yeah, the platform, as you can see here, is Kudo. We call ourselves as an incubator for indie games, and I'm not gonna go into details. You can go to our website and try it out. But basically, we want to accelerate the conversion from actual gamers and actual games into Web3 as fast as possible, and this can be done with our SDK in less than 30 minutes. The AI part is because we want to leverage AI to make it possible for anyone like myself, for example, that I don't know anything about programming or even developing games with game engines and so on, to just with prompts to create a game in a matter of minutes and a game worth sharing with my friends. If the game play is good and they like the game design and even the game mechanics that I added, maybe I can be even incubated in our own platform and to become a fully fledged game. So yeah, I love discussing about gaming, not only on our ecosystem, but what everyone else is doing on the gaming scenario, not only on Web3, and especially say something new and really interoperable and stuff. That's I'm always hoping to hear and to discuss, even if I'm not completely on the agreement side.
Out of curiosity, Kudo is an acronym for something else or just a name?
It's the Greek word called kudos. When you kudos someone, like kudos for you, for example. So we
Okay.
just changed the K to
Okay.
Q. So basically, the idea is you are rewarded for playing these indie games that indie developers took so much time and effort to create and publish for you to game it. So kudos for you for playing their games. It's basically how it operates, how the whole ecosystem. So that's how it starts.
Okay,
Like a
cool.
nice positive ring to it.
So kudos to you for joining us this week.
So
You've mentioned a few topics there last week or in the last episode. We talked about Web3. So today is not the topic, but I'm very interested about the AI angle. Maybe you would be able to elaborate a bit more on that. But on that note, I will let our Cicerone guide us, our captain steer us. So, Vessel, do your magic.
Is there anyone here who doesn't use AI?
Yes, I use AI. It powers my work. I have a lot of colleagues that rely on AI. I use it to power certain things. For example, I deal with a lot of documentation. So I use it to create summaries, or when I create my own documentation to make sure it's structured and so on. I try to not be hostage on the use of AI, but I'm not against it at all. For me, it's a power tool. It gives me at least 10x, 20x my improves my workflow. Plus, I've been dabbling into the creation side of AI with video creation and so on. So yeah, AI allows me to do things that I wouldn't be able any other way because I don't have the skills nor the knowledge. AI makes me look good.
That's perfect. You're using AI for the right thing. As a sound designer, I'm not using it for creative generation. If AI would create sounds, it's based on other people's sounds that already have been created. But what I do like AI a lot for is uploading documentations from tools and making them work together by asking wild questions and wild ideas. So it will give solutions or processes for my audio design implementation that I would have not been able to think of.
Hmm.
And that's awesome because AI can be very, very smart sounding, but actually it doesn't own intelligence in a way that we all have in our brain here. If you give it the right documentation, the right information, it can take that and put that out. Because have you guys ever been in a situation where you've been like, damn, right now, Mr. Chat lies to me with so much confidence. Like he's so wrong. And this is why I really love to upload documentation and make sure he takes the right information. What are you guys' favorite ways to use AI into your workflows?
I love arguing with
Like,
him.
yeah.
I heard that's actually very good.
I love arguing with AI. I don't use it a lot. I have my own and I like the way they are. I will need to take a look to see if I can improve them with AI. I use AI mainly for my personal uses. Like, for example, when I have some stuff to check, some question, I was wondering, and I'm not using AI for stupid question you can ask Google and have an answer. It's using
Nowadays,
AI.
Google even gives AI answer.
Yeah, but I use AI to try to how do you call it, to cross information. Eventually, he came to me with a wrong answer, and I was like, yeah, okay, no, that's not good. And so there is the fact that you use documentation to feed him to get the right information is a really good way of doing it because he will tell you anything you want to hear. I feel like it's
It's true. So that's kind of like the how do you navigate the space. Also, something I've been noticing is there have been so many AI news articles being generated with automated news articles being put on a website, but these automated news articles are made by AI that sometimes is not 100% correct, and then it will refer back to this sometimes not 100% correct articles to generate
yeah.
new, and then that's difficult. But Diogo, in your case,
Well,
what is
I
your
love the
favorite
arguing
way?
part.
How do you use
I love the
AI?
arguing part. I use quite a lot actually. I love the arguing part. It's something that even when you ask like the instructions of the AI, how you want him to behave with you, that's like one of my mandatory. Is two things. Two things that people already know. First is to argue, and then the other one is don't use dashes. Something I don't want any answer with dashes. It's
Oh, it's
constantly
super
using them.
annoying.
I hate it. This is the two prompts, and then of course I want don't always agree with me. Find always the best way to disagree with me, because the AI tends to always agree with you and gives you like a false sense of security that what you're doing is okay, and that's something you don't want an AI to do to you. So that's one. So in terms of what I use a lot is when I need to write something, and I usually what happened to me is I was stuck like looking at an empty sheet, but now I know I just start writing stuff. Give me something entry point, then I know how to adjust it, and maybe it helps me start a task because I know that before I had like that barrier that I'm gonna start something, but how I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do this and that. But with AI, it helps me like I know that I'm gonna just dump something on my head, and then after it gives me something, I can start structuring. So it helps me continue the flow from task to another. So that's one of the things that helped me a lot. Another thing that helped me a lot, and this for me is probably the most amazing, and I'm not sure why no one mentioned, is note taking from meetings, like things with fireflies, read, and something.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Usually, I hated taking notes during the meeting. I hated taking notes when I was at university itself because I feel like if I'm taking notes, I'm not hearing, and if I'm hearing, I'm not taking notes. Usually, it happens one thing on another. And what happens with this, I don't take any notes, and for some reason, this part of AI is getting way better, and I start using not only for the note taking with meetings, then I can have like a summary of what I need to do, what was my key actions from the follow-up meeting, but from webinars, from podcast layers, where I take all the insights of everything that is being happening. I have the transcripts of, I put it on AI, take me the top actions of what the transcript or the key points of this, and this is how I can consume a lot of knowledge or a lot of podcasts and all of things happening on a short period of time, because no one has the time to reach like the podcast from the Diary of the CEO that's 1 hour long and every 3 days you have a new one. No one has time for that.
It's just
Summary,
repetitive
and
work.
it takes insights, and you can even done it automatic. Like this video comes out from this podcast that you like, goes through the AI, you get a synthesize of what you wanted to do. I even use it with Grok. My news is with Grok, and this is a daily task. Give me the latest news that is happening around Twitter and stuff with AI and gaming, and of course with some people in specific niches that I want to be aware of. But the niches that I'm interested, it gives me every day on my speak say I'm a CMO, like the top niches or the top hooks that's been working on social media or on X that having the most visibility. All those things daily at 9 and at 12. I receive that summary, and that's how I've been doing. And of course with games, but we are going to cover a little bit of the AI part. That's something that we want to incentivize people in using it, but it's not a way we want the creativity in games. I'm sure that we're going to go to this, but to be more than how you design a thing. And that's something that I feel it's really strong on indie gaming, but it's not strong on AAA. It's being creative, bringing new game mechanics, and that's something that AI will not do it for you. You need to want to be aware of it and think about it and implement it. But the AI part can automate that and make it faster. But yeah, that's my key takeaways from if I use AI. I'm sure I use.
AI
So
is making our life so much
we
easier.
so we all agree that AI, at least in our angles here, and I can boost our productivity, help us summarize, organize, and even challenge our thoughts, and so on. I think we are all on the same page here. However, it's a joke, not joke. And usually I would ask this to the guest, but I will ask you, Vessel, because you mentioned that AI lies so confidently. How do you know that AI is lying?
Well, because you can double check some of the facts it's actually spewing out. Plus, what I notice a lot in my own workflows is if I ask something about the specific tool, which is called Wise, it's a program that helps sound designers implement sound into video games. I can take the time, I can go into documentation, I can look into how it works. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes I don't have this time. I need to be quick. Sometimes I ask AI. Before, you didn't have the function to upload documentation or say to the AI, hey, look at this specific documentation only. So it would just come up with stuff because it is a language model. It's basically very good at predicting what to say next. But with programs that are very fine tuned, like Wise, it changes a lot over time. So it might tell me something, first of all, that can be in like Wise version, whatever, that was from the Middle Ages, and I cannot do anything with anymore. Or it just tells me something that just doesn't exist. And that's super frustrating. And that's how it actually is very good at lying at you, but it sounds very true because the context around it might be true. It is talking about the same functions. It is talking about the program. You're having a conversation. You're talking about this topic, and it's just telling you, yeah, just go to this setting and go click that, and you go to the setting, and hey, there is no such setting like this. Hello, and then you go into this kind of like realization that you cannot 100% trust it.
Yeah.
If you're just
Mm.
open the chatbot and you just go like, hey man, tell me how I rule a country, like it's gonna tell you a bunch of lies because it doesn't know. It doesn't know like you, me, or anyone would know. But you can still use it in such cool ways. And I think one of those such cool ways is what Diogo was just teasing us about. Because you're actually using it in a creative way to make game dev possible for people who either might not have too much time or just want to try figuring out to build a game just for fun without wanting to go through years and years of studying how to do game dev. I'd love to hear more about this tool you have.
I'm
Can
going
you
to
tell
tell
us some more
you
about
what
this?
I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, but I'm going to tell what will be good use for. Like there is like a, I would say, black marketing, or you could call it like that, or the black magic of people out using. And I'm sure some of you already passed through this. Have you ever been like playing a game, like especially a mobile game, and then there's that sneaky ad that appears, and it's like a playable ad, and you play that playable ad, and it's like, oh, this is amazing. This is like a game that I would love to play. It seems really engaging, and I press download. What happens is it's not the game that you were expecting to be. They do this because they want to try game mechanics, they want to try a playable demo, and once they have the downloads, they have a metrics of the intention to play this game of the community that plays these mobile games have. They have the metrics, so they know if they should develop this game or not. Usually they send to a game that already have that portfolio. It's really hard for a big corporation to convince the shareholders that are used to using a formula that works on a specific game and just reiterate, and it's always the same game with a different design around it. They want to try a different game mechanic, but in order to fully develop a game, it takes some time. So they will do this, they get the metrics of people that are wishing to download this game. If there is a lot of people downloading that, they're all going to develop that game fully. But what if instead of doing this, they can just create a game from scratch with an AI tool that they could try that game mechanic and polish, and it will be like a proof of concept that they can share with the community, and people will play. They'll get the same result. They'll see if it will be a game that people will play, and it can be generated with AI because they are not going to commit a lot the same way they don't commit a lot to these little playable ads that they add in games. So this is really awesome. And now moving to what you were asking, this is what we are trying to do, but not for this big corporation, but for the regular Joe like me, like anyone else that loves to play games and probably had a game idea back when they were younger or even now that they want to try it out. And this is what we are trying to do, is that you can write your game idea the same way you use ChatGPT, and you send a prompt and you have the game fully function right away. You can still reiterate and add new insights, new prompts on top of the first prompt that you initially created your game, and the AI will constantly improve that game. You can send 10 prompts or even 100 prompts until you are happy. And the ability to have that version of the game that you created and you didn't know how to do, and to be hosted in a platform, in this case Kudo, and you are able to share with friends, I think is really cool because you can share, see if people are playing it, and especially on Web3, we allow it that those games are automatically available on Telegram. And there's a big niche of Web3 games on Telegram that with this AI game, someone in 2 minutes can create a better game than most of those typing games. So this is what we want. Try new game ideas, and you can have like a big community of players playing them, and you'll be able to see which game ideas were having the best reviews, which game ideas that were having the most playtime. So, okay, maybe this is the way to go. Let's fully commit to this AI game and move from an AI game to an actual fully fledged game, because we know people love this game mechanic, although the graphics or even the game mechanics were not optimized, but they can be. And so this is what we are trying to do with the Kudo AI Playground. It's in early access, but it's something that excites me because anyone can create a game.
At the day we are recording this is during the week of Slush. Slush is a substantial, a very, I would say, an important conference that happens yearly in Helsinki, where they touch on entrepreneurship, innovation, and so on. And yesterday and today is happening R.A.W. If you guys are not familiar with R.A.W, they are now part of Sega. Sega acquired R.A.W, but R.A.W is the parents of Angry Birds. And RovioCon, they invite celebrities from the space, game developers with pedigree. Yesterday or today, Ilka Panaman, the CEO of Supercell, had a talk on RovioCon. And I invite you guys to read the article. Is on pocketgamer.biz, where he talks about AI and how AI accelerates their process. And I was very impressed because the whole ethos of Supercell, and I've learned this from years ago, Supercell, even the word comes from it. So they call it Supercell because all their game concepts, they start with really small teams. But at some point today, Supercell is a mogul, so the small teams are not small anymore. They have very big IPs, very big franchises. He mentioned the way they are using AI, and again, this is a large organization. They managed to make from a 60 people team again back to 5 to 10 people team. So they can
Damn.
quickly iterate new concepts, generate new worlds. I'm not even talking about the accelerating production pipelines, validation, and many other things. But it's really impressive that not only if we see from an indie developer perspective, AI gives you the tools and enables you to do things that probably it would require you big budgets, larger budgets, or larger teams, and so on. But on the other spectrum, you have very large organizations that use AI to optimize their resources, to accelerate production, and even maybe increasing the creativity pipelines and all that jazz. So it's very interesting here how you have two spectrums and two different ways how AI boosts both indies and larger organizations. And in between, You have platforms like Kudo that kind of, well, you are more maybe on the indie dev side, but it's still cool how you guys use AI and leverage AI to power these concepts and empowering indie developers and so on.
Sometimes I wonder because all these big companies, they are talking now about AI, of course. And one of the reasons of it is because it is a boom right now. Companies that are doing AI, look at Nvidia, for example, are growing like insane. Sometimes I wonder how much of the AI implementations that these big companies are mentioning are they actually doing? Because I did read this story about, for example, Coca-Cola saying that they're doing all kinds of stuff with AI just so it's good for their, for their stocks, for their growth. So investors are interested. But actually, the only thing they did with it was making one Christmas commercial with AI generated animals.
Well, a lot of these big brands and big corporations, they talk about it because it's a narrative. When the market hears about AI, the eyes start blinking, they start sparkling. AI is the thing right now. I know I come from a traditional video games background, and a lot of my colleagues see red flags on AI. Obviously, there's still this reluctance in accepting that AI is becoming inevitable because there's still this narrative that AI will replace people, replace roles, and so on. But simply from a corporate standpoint and from a game development standpoint, we already talked about some of the value props here, but the benefits are immense. For example, you are building code for the coders. If you are working with AI to enable you to be a better coder for debugging, for refactoring, for checking your code if it has errors. I'm not a developer, so I'm not into all the shebang. For live ops, I remember I'm from a traditional games publishing school. So the live ops teams are quite large because it involves PMs, quality control, community measurement, marketeers, etc., game design, blah, blah, blah. If you have AI boosting that, live ops become smarter and smaller. You can also have, again, we were talking about gameplay, how they can help you with gameplay, fewer dependencies. You can have higher consistency and quality control, for example, when you're doing animations, conventions, coding, blah, 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 blah. Prototyping, all the studios, whether they are indie developers or larger studios, at some point you need to build your MVPs. You need to start prototyping. Imagine with AI, you can do those things really fast, faster pitches, faster approvals, and
It's
fewer
insane.
wasted time. So AI is definitely, it's the advent of AI. I see it as inevitable, not only because of all this value prop that I've mentioned and lower creative friction, but it's also inevitable market-wise because when you talk about it, it's something juicy. Even if you don't want to talk about it, you end up talking about it. Even Coca-Cola, I don't know if they are using AI or not. I hope they are using AI, but they will talk about AI.
That's the thing. Just in case AI becomes self-aware, I
Thank you,
am
Anthony.
nice against chat because you never know. I heard it cost OpenAI a lot of money for people who are acting nice to AI because it's a lot of prompts and these prompts are being generated and
The
it costs a lot of money.
Skynet, they are afraid that the AI becomes Skynet, like that was in the Terminator,
Schwarzenegger will
that
say this.
Skynet just revolted against people. I had a moment when I was testing, this was back in the day, I was testing ChatGPT, and he was giving me answers. Maybe I was disagreeing with something. I wouldn't say I was challenging him, but I had a moment I was testing cursing at him to see how he would react to it. But he was so polite that I lost my mojo in the moment. I want someone that challenges me back. I'm cursing on you, curse back. But
Goes
no, he was
back.
I,
so
I
polite.
think
Oh, no, I'm
in
not
Yeah,
that
sure
case
Grok
you
this
is
should
is
try
something like
going.
Grok.
that.
Grok,
Grok,
yeah.
Yeah,
Grok
yeah.
curses back at you.
Yeah.
I believe Grok curses back at you.
He
I
can
think
curse
Diogo,
you.
maybe
Not
you can
with
confirm.
art stuff, but can curse you. He will use the same words in a different way that you pointed at him.
But how do you know that? What are you doing? I thought you were working. You are
Well,
playing
we are in
around with
Web3
Grok. Are you
game. We are
cursing
in
on Grok? Are
Web3
you
game and you
insulting
try
Grok? Hey,
everything. Like this adult content that they started adding because it's only about market size. Like if the market size make it sense for them, they're gonna add it for sure.
It's unhinged, right?
Unhinged.
to not lose the string of the conversation. So we kind of agreed on the benefits of AI for developers, but Are there any benefits or direct benefits of AI to gamers? Because we are in the gaming industry, talked about one side, let's talk about the user experience. What are the benefits? Are there benefits? And if yes, what are the benefits for gamers on having smarter games with AI and so on? This would be my question now. Maybe
And
for Diogo.
what I see
Diogo,
that it
what
helps
do
a
you think?
lot. Imagine this: there are a lot of games that are multiplayer but don't have enough people playing it. And back in the day, you for sure know who are bots and who are not bots, because I remember playing CS at 1.6 back in the day, and you like bots will behave in a similar way, and it was not worth playing against them. But now you can adapt to it and they learn to it about the game itself, and it starts being really challenging for players, and most likely they will not know if it is a bot, if it is an AI bot or is an actual player. There's a game called Shockwaves that's on our platform as well, that what they use, that you can own these characters and they will play for you the way you have been playing, so they mimic the way you play and they continue playing throughout the day, and the kills that they get, since it is your NFT, you're gonna get the rewards that he's getting by playing on his own. So what I say is it helps be smaller games that want to reach multiplayer successes without having like big marketing campaigns. Like I will never recommend an indie developer to create a multiplayer game, because you're not gonna have that community from day one. And if you don't have that community from day one, you can still have a good game. People will play and they'll like, I entered the game, the lobby is empty, I cannot play a game. So they will, you're never going to reach to a point that you have a lot of people playing it. So this AI part that can mimic player actions and makes a real experience for a new player coming, I think that's big, really big for indie game developers, and they can leverage on this. This is one thing. Another thing is you can use it in a way that makes the game different from one moment to another. There's a game, I think it's also Shockwaves, that the map itself it's different every single time because it's the AI that creates it. So for shooter games where people already know like that spot is the best one or that spot is the best one, if you have an AI that automatically changes the way the map, they have the assets and they change how the map evolves. There's no camping spots. There's a new game every single time. You have fun with it. So there's a lot of ways that you can make the game repeatable and without people losing interest on them. So in terms of retention for these games, I think is wonderful. But of course, there's also bad stuff that you can do with it that makes the game less fun. But yeah, this is the good point.
I
Of
would love to have the bots
Yeah,
talk to you like chat do.
Be
Imagine you
amazing.
voice chat and they respond
Yeah.
to it like, as intelligent as an AI would. It would be hilarious.
And this is
yeah,
what we are expecting from GTA 6 right now.
Ah, damn. Yeah. I
I
mean,
wanna
there's a game.
yeah,
There's a game out there, Baldur's Gate 3. It's
Yeah.
kind of it comes close, I
yeah. It
guess.
is.
Or it's maybe even already good enough. Adele, did you play?
I didn't play it because it's a turn-based game. I don't really like a lot of turn-based game. I'm saying that, and I know that I just played Expedition 33, and it would be game of the
Yeah,
year. Mark my words, you'll see.
He's betting on it.
but
I can bet right now on it.
it was
I
the most
know it will
nominated,
be.
right?
I
It was the
just
most
saw
nominated
the
ever
others,
for
and
all
I
the
just
awards.
played.
they have a lot of
Yeah,
nominations.
With the
actually,
most,
they just
Yeah,
broke a record.
yeah.
You can
But
feel the French
Adele,
proudness.
Adele, from your side, because you are from the four of us, you are definitely the hardcore gamer here. Do you see games evolving and incorporating even more AI in some of the ways that, for example, Diogo mentioned? And what do you feel? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I love Diogo's angle, but I already saw games before AI that had maps changing every time, and it was not AI. It was just how do you call it? Exactly,
Procedural.
procedural
The next
seeding
word.
or something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's seeds, just seeds that you put here and there, and it's just works as a brick, just like a Lego. But to me, the most interesting angle, and because I'm a hardcore gamer, I think I'm the only one that can talk about it. It's is anti-cheating. Is the anti-cheating tool that
Mm.
we will have thanks to AI. Jogo was talking about CS. CS is the love of my life, really. And I've met so
You
many,
need
that's
to
your
so
go
many
man.
out
cheaters.
more, man. You need to go out more. How can be
How how
the
how can
love
I
of your
be
life?
how can I be relevant in a gaming podcast if I'm not gaming? Man, I need to game. This is my main objective. So yeah, anti-cheating, man. The AI can so easily see that you are having like automated stuff that makes you cheat, the automatic aim, automatic movements. This is something that AI will see much more easily than any human eye will see, because it can analyze on the 0.0001 second every input you put in your computer. So if it's cheating, it can detect that super fast. And this is, for me, this is the main feature I want with
Makes
AI. This is
sense.
the main thing I am
That's
waiting
cool.
from
I love the
AI.
angle as well.
And until then, I don't see any more reason to use it. For me, it's the number one reason. This is what I'm waiting for.
I was in a podcast with the Mr. Console. Shout out to Mr. Console if he's watching us. One of the topics was AI, and each one of the panelists end up listing a few reasons where do we see the potential of AI. To be honest, I haven't thought about the anti-cheating part, and I really agree with that. I think this can be a great angle. Cheating is a problem in several games, but you mentioned CS. I played CS for years ago, and this was an issue, has been an issue ever since. There's another thing that AI and Diogo touched on that is really smarter NPCs. If you play online games, there's one thing that you hate is bots, because bots are dumb. Even if you put in the hardest difficulty, they are dumb. And they have a pattern behavior. So at some point you will learn all those patterns. So there's nothing new for you. But if you have NPCs powered by AI that mimic human behavior, so it means that you're not playing against bots anymore. You're playing against artificial intelligence, the enemies that react more intelligently, that feel like real teammates or like real adversaries. So this is definitely the anti-cheating, the smarter NPCs. And maybe the other thing I think was Vessel that mentioned world regeneration. I think there's a technical term for that. I think we can call it replayability. So all the times you've started a game, so there's like a new world with new quests, with new maps that can adapt to your behavior and learn from this. I think this could be an angle, but definitely I would point anti-cheating. I love that. I haven't thought about it, and I think this is a hit in the nail. Smarter NPCs from Diogo. I think gaming will go in this direction as well. But then also the world maps or the replayability of things or recycling. Because for a developer, and we're going back to the developer's side, creating this content constantly, it's a pain in the ass. So AI can generate that infinite replayability of quests, puzzles, maps, content, whatnot. Yeah.
We're talking about AI and NPCs, and I'm gonna call it. You're gonna think people are gonna use AI to make awesome NPCs in video games, but people are gonna use it to simulate Skyrim's NPCs just for the meme because it's hilarious. I'm gonna call it right now.
Hey,
That's the
you
first thing
woke up.
people are gonna do. Yeah, hey, you
Hey,
woke up.
you just woke up.
That would be hilarious.
We need
That would
more
be
memes.
hilarious.
TikTok needs memes, so this is definitely memeifiable. Okay, is this a correct word?
We make it.
Memeifiable?
We
So
make
yeah,
it. We
yeah.
make
We
it
make it. We
correct.
make it. We make it a
Yeah,
word.
let's
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it correct.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it's memeifiable. Guys, there's some big elephant in the room we need to discuss,
Ooh,
and it's Valve's epic slam in the door.
dun, dun, dun,
We've
dun.
got Steam hardware, and this stuff for me came out of the blue. I mean, we've got the Steam Deck already, then a new controller, then the Steam machine, which is Steam's own PC, and then also a Steam frame, and it's all gonna come out
You've
what
seen
next
how
year?
clever they
Yeah,
were.
2026.
Ever seen how clever they
Is
were?
this?
Like the Steam
Yep.
machine,
Tell
like
me about it.
really from before when it started to they industrialize everything, so when it actually started working everything, they actually adapted the name like Steam machine. That's perfect.
It's smart from a marketing standpoint because we got two marketing guys here. What did Valve do right in this drop?
Console wars was won like 2 years ago by PlayStation. They saw an angle like no one was actually evolving. PlayStation doesn't have the need to start developing like PlayStation 6. There's nothing that they need to fight about. They just released PS5 Pro because they don't even need to hint about it, have exclusives. Right now there's cross playability of most games on our platforms. There's no exclusives, so it's a no-brainer. Like Steam goes and says, okay, every game is gonna there's not gonna be a console exclusive. We already have a big database. We have a Steam Deck that works, and a lot of people buy it. What else is making us not create a console and bring all those games? And Steam has one thing that no one has: PlayStation and Xbox. That's really hard for an indie game developer. I'm always going to this angle because it's where I have more expertise. It's really tough for someone that's developing a game to have that game available on consoles. Now imagine this. Now it's way easier for any developer to create a game that anyone can play on this couch and playing it as soon as they get home, because those games will be on Steam. It's the platform that has the most indie games, and now there is a console that's able to play all the games. There's no Xbox exclusives. There won't be any PlayStation exclusives. There's a console that already can enter the war, that can focus on their hardware, and I'm sure that they're gonna lose money on hardware because they just want to retain the players, and they're gonna get a lot of players that are coming from the Xbox, from PlayStation, because they even have one thing that's, I think, is perfect. They are compatible with any types of remotes. Like, for example, I'm a PlayStation kind of guy. I just don't play Xbox because the controller doesn't feel good on my hands. Like, I don't like it. But now I can play with whatever controller I want, and they have been preparing for this for quite a while. It's supporting every controller. First it was only Xbox because it was Microsoft. Then the last 3 years was like, we are accepting now, and you don't need any sketchy software to use your PlayStation controller. Everything was spot on. They said, nothing is stopping us. It makes total sense. Steam Deck was a hit. There's no need to develop a Steam Deck 2 because it's still, the sales are going through the roof. We are not going to release a Steam Deck 2 unless the sales stop increasing. The Steam Machine makes total sense. They even not thought about the design. I don't think it was like, we want a box just like this. I think it is this one. We have the better hardware. We don't need to compete on this because we don't need even to care about it. It's just a cube and that's it. That's my take on it.
I have to agree. Look, if you guys know me a little bit, I try to be fair on my takes. And I never loved the concept of Steam because of the whole monopoly and so on. But one thing I gotta give them, they are not the most shiny platform out there. So if you think about marketing spent out there, they don't do a lot of promotion. They don't do a lot of events. They do in the platform, of course. If you have your Steam client installed, you see the promotions. But in terms of marketing, announcements, and so on, no. The Steam has been around for since ages, and they quietly built an empire, and an empire that has the monopoly of PC gaming with 80% of the market. And I gotta give it to Gabe, the CEO of Steam. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I read the news that he just bought himself a yacht of $500 million. Guys,
Gaben.
$500 million. That we are not joking around. So let the guy enjoy himself of all this money that he's making because he built a fucking empire. And pardon for my French here, but I think Steam managed to build probably the largest Trojan horse in gaming. Diogo mentioned something, console wars. Every generation of consoles has console wars. I think that the wars are changing now because it's not just an hardware war, which one has the best hardware, because right now the hardwares are quite similar. There's not a lot of differences anyway. I'm more of a console guy nowadays because I simply like to play comfortably anywhere in my house. Think about just the concept of console wars. PlayStation was about the exclusives in terms of edge of each platform. PlayStation really coolly exclusive, cinematic exclusives. Xbox, the edge of Xbox has been so far the Game Pass. They also have exclusives, but the value proposition of Xbox has always been the Game Pass. And now they shifted because they are exploring other distribution channels. They have the Rogue Ally, etc., etc., etc. And they even sell Xboxes anywhere, everywhere you play. But still, their main value prop is Game Pass. If you think nowadays, your entire gaming identity is everywhere, from the PC, from your desk to the living room to your hands, because they have the handheld. So this changes the whole thing. You don't have any more 8-year hardware development cycles. There's no more next gen resets. You simply upgrade the box when you feel you like it. And this is the complete disruption of the business model. I got to give it to Nick because the guy is 10 steps ahead of the industry.
Totally agree.
They really came out like building this in the quiet corner in the
Sneaky.
background. That's
Yeah.
better. Yeah, they've been building, they've been preparing for this, and then just dropping this on YouTube. Boom.
They are really confident.
That's all they needed to do.
No announcement, nothing. Yeah, that's what Steam is great at. It doesn't need any marketing. It doesn't need
Yeah,
anything. Every
I
game that
agree.
just comes out just say I am available on Steam, and they don't need to do anything. The guys that want to play a game will
Yeah.
go and buy it on Steam. It's so smart. It's so smart. I'm not a console guy. I'm absolutely not a console guy. I feel like I have no hands when I hold a controller. I have to look at the button to know what I'm a keyboard guy. I didn't understand the Steam Deck move because I was like, man, those games are playable on PC for a reason, right? And then a friend of mine bought the Steam Deck and showed it to me. And I was like, okay, this is just Steam telling me to sit down. They just told Nintendo, go sit down. Their console is so
Yeah.
much better than the Switch. And now they're telling PlayStation and Xbox, guys, this is how we do it. I'm just amazed because I'm not the end user here. I will never buy the Steam machine. I have a PC that's way more powerful than the Steam machine, but I get it. I know why people will go and buy this because now you have access to the whole Steam library that will always be, even if Steam stops today and PlayStation like keep developing games for 100 years, they will never have the library of Steam. And this is just a winning move to me. They're just telling everyone to sit and to watch how gaming is done. And you
You
can't
know
say
that
anything to
the
that.
After I saw that announcement, I was never very interested in mobile handheld devices. Was never a thing of mine, so I'm not the target audience of a Steam Deck or any other equivalent equipment. However, something happened. After I saw the announcement, the first thing that I've started Googling was how much will it cost, the Steam machine? And then I started searching for Steam Decks. Maybe I'm the Steam Deck type of guy. And then I started looking at similar hardwares and so on. But anyway, where do I want to go with this? I think they proved, and this is where the Trojan horse move makes sense and involved building quiet. With the Steam Deck, they proved that hardware and the OS combo works because today you have developers that are optimizing. Before, developers were just building a PC game and then having different types of optimization per hardware. But today, for example, a Steam Deck is powered by Linux, so they are optimizing for Linux. And then this move of Steam Deck to the living room completely blurred the line between console and PC. The ecosystem is living everywhere. So you don't need to take your asset to XYZ. They are creating this entire ecosystem that is accessible on your PC, on your Mac, now on your living room, on a portable device, and maybe in the future, maybe even on mobile, literally mobile. So again, this is, if you guys like historical moves and if you guys like to see Troy with Brad Pitt a few years ago with the Trojan horse, I think this, I gotta take my hat to Nick. And he really deserves that $500 million yacht. I'm really jealous of him because he really pulled the Joker move here, man.
It's insane. I'm excited to see these beasts coming out. Will be next year. So very quick. Awesome, guys. We're running a bit out of time, but is Rod prepared today?
For what? Oh man, no, no, wait. Let me prepare. Let me prepare. Let me pull my grok while Diogo can give his take on this. Let me pull my grok and see if we can do some magic.
what are you cooking there?
You
This
are
is a
two on your
recurring.
team. This week you are two on your team. There will be two Portuguese guys, right?
We need to build this together this week. But let me buy some time here. Diogo, what do you think about this move and this new market brute force hack that Valve created and how they are spreading their tentacles into several platforms? And how do you think this will impact also the industry moving
I think
forward?
what will mostly impact is now everyone can build games that can be played on consoles. Probably when someone is developing a game, they'll do the same thing as people do websites right now. They don't create sites for to be seen on a computer. They create websites to be seen on a mobile devices. So right now, people will be creating games to be played on with a controller rather than to be playing on a keyboard. Sorry, Adel. And then I think that will be the biggest shift. People are gonna be focusing more on creating games that can be playing on a controller from now on. Maybe it's not gonna be in the next 2 years. Probably not gonna be in the next 3 years. But I know it's shifting towards that because right now you can play with a controller or a handle with a Steam Deck or with Rogue or whatever, but you can also play at home comfortable. So the only place now you play with a keyboard is when you are actually at the PC. And so I think that will be the biggest shift. And just to touch on the point as people said before, you know the power of Steam when there is a big player called Epic that enters and starts giving free games, and the actual users from Steam they prefer to buy the game to add to the adventure because Steam make the way they do it makes you feel like your Steam account is important, and that's amazing how they do it. There is like on other markets that they sell you a game for a way cheaper price, but they give you an account for you to play that game, and people prefer to play like 3 times the price of that game to be able to play on their account so that they can see the progress and everything is lined up with a single account on all the games. And this is something that Steam has and Steam been nurturing throughout the years, and no other player can enter and take that from them because there's no way to import all your activity, and Steam will not allow you to export that activity from one account to have that same account on Epic or any other player. So they've been doing this. I don't know if it was with that intention or not, but they've been really giving value to the player, and they play the games that they have on the platform. Like they give you like a medallion for 5 years, a medallion for 15 years, or that, but to feel like you are really recognized for being a Steam member and all these years. So it doesn't matter if you give you free games, they will still be open to buy the game and have it on their accounts. When this started, they didn't change anything. They didn't start giving free games to keep up with Epic. They knew what was their value proposition. They knew their audience, and they stick to it. The way I see Steam, like especially on Web3, because I know they like Web3, but if it's done the right way, like our SDK, it is using blockchain technology, and we are accepted by Steam. And there's a lot of Web3 companies or Web3 games that are not allowed at Steam. That they are not against Web3, but they know like 90% of the Web3 games are scammy, and they don't actually use Web3 capabilities to enhance games. So it's the right decision, is in special to their audience, because they don't want to make it possible for just one game to be like this scammy on their platform. So they made the right decision by burying the old Web3 games, even though there are good players in the space. I know that in the future, with regulation or whatever, people these sections starts being more mature, not then going to be so much fluff going around, then will be accepted again. And I think that's the right way to do it. And props for Steam for doing that. And there's still room for Web3 games to be there. They just need to pass through all the Steam compliances and discuss with them all those things. And if you have a crappy Web3 game, you're not going to go through all those steps. And that's amazing.
Rapid fire question, but very quick. I would like to learn in which platforms do you play. Let me start with Adele. Where do you play?
All of them, man.
All of them, but you are a
All
PC
of
guy.
them. Yeah.
PC
Yeah.
guy.
So
Do you
Steam, Epic, GOG, UB Connect. I'm missing one. I'm missing one. I'm missing one.
OnlyFans? OnlyFans. That's the one. That's the one. OnlyFans.
It's
Diogo,
Origin.
where do you play?
I
Where can
play
where do you play? Which platforms?
Steam, of course. I play a ton in Riot. It's a platform, right? Like League of Legends, Valorant, and stuff. And
Yeah.
I play a ton of card games, like from the Blizzard ecosystem, like Hearthstone and such.
Mostly a PC guy as well. Mostly.
Yeah, I could say that.
Okay. Vessel, you. PC guy,
Playing
console guy, mobile guy?
on PC and on the Switch, but on PC I do use
Okay.
Epic Games only to claim the games and to never install them ever,
Exactly. That's
and
all.
to go back to Steam and play them.
So that.
So
So
if
PC
that.
guy.
I'm Dutch. I'm Dutch. So if I see a free game, I need to claim. I'm not doing anything with it,
I
but I need
like
to
that.
claim.
I like that. So mostly a PC guy, and also you mentioned Switch. So you're the first
Yeah,
one
yeah.
mentioning. So you actually have. How do we can we call it a mobile platform? How do we call it? How do we describe it? A mobile handheld?
Yeah,
Handhelds.
I love it.
Okay, so
yeah, that's right.
I'm more today console first, PC second. I'm a League of Legends guy.
Ooh, played
But
that.
yeah, but nowadays I need to change my GPU because I can't play Citadels anymore. Okay, cool. So this was
Just
very
a quick
interesting.
one.
Yeah.
Just I agree with everything Diogo said, and I just want to wrap it up under one word. It's your Steam profile is your gaming pedigree. This is exactly that.
Oh
It's your
man,
gaming pedigree. I have how
Hmm.
many hours I played CS, how much dirty I did to people, how everything is on my Steam
Dirt.
profile. So how much dirt? Sorry, yeah.
I
So
like.
everything is on my Steam profile, and it's you can show it to people. You cannot fake it. You cannot like it's yeah. It's really
We
they're
can print that and make it a poster. Your Steam profile is your gaming pedigree, and find out how much dirt I did. Something like that. Okay, so
500 hours OnlyFans played.
this will open a new discussion topic. Diogo, it's your first time joining us, so every week we have a small segment called the lame joke. This week I had to improvise, so I literally wrote grog. Hopefully this is funny. I will try to make it funny, but it's called lame joke because well, I'm lame, so imagine. So the joke is like this. Two Portuguese, a French guy and a Dutch guy walk into a bar. The bartender instantly hides the espresso machine, and the Portuguese yell, "Relax, man, we brought our own." They pull two coffee machines out of their backpacks. The French guy orders wine and whispers, mon Dieu, mobile caffeine warfare. And the Dutch guy looks at the electricity bill on the wall and, and faints. And this was the lame
That's it.
joke.
That's it. Amazing.
I think,
Thank you,
I
guys.
think,
Thank you, Diogo, for
thank
joining
you so much,
us.
guys. That's really fun.
Was the great
This
one.
was
We should have you here more often, man.
My pleasure.
You're
free.
always
Yeah,
welcome. All right, this was episode 5 of the Raw Gaming Podcast, and we'll see
Five.
you guys next
It
time.
feels like number 20, man. Why is this
Yeah,
five?
we're
I
5.
I
Yeah,
feel like we did the 20 episodes already, no?
I mean, we
5.
started with 0, so actually we did
It's
6.
6.
Remember?
Okay.
Six
Yeah.
squares. Okay, okie dokie.
See you guys.
See you soon.
Bye, guys. It was great
Bye.
to be here.